And look, in as far as paying homage to the podcast, as I said, last week of June, last week that things are running a little bit slow. And Mark, like, do you remember what we did for our very first Practice Squad podcast episode ever?
I do, yeah. And we did a tier list of like where we thought teams would be in terms of like contender, Super Bowl contender, playoff contender, 500, below 500, all that shit. And all I remember from that first episode is I didn't have a mic yet, right? And
Didn't have a mic. We didn't have any Practice Squad branding. I pulled some like bullshit stuff off of Google of a football field to use as the background. Like, it was janky. And at the same time, right? Like, you got to respect where you started.
Start
and this
somewhere,
podcast
man.
has come a long way, right? I mean, I remember how like geeked we were to, interview Troy for the first time. Sweet, like the podcast as its first NFL player. And we just had Shane on, and like, I think we're pretty good at this by now too, and we've had a lot of really awesome, stories and talents to bring on. So, in respects to that, we're bringing it back out.
Bring
The
back
NFL
the tier maker.
Tier maker, and so we're gonna do two of them. We're gonna do uniforms, which we'll do after this, and then which honestly, I'm excited to just purely talk team aesthetics because I do think it matters a lot. Because look, if you don't look good, you don't play
Look good, feel good, play good. I really do believe in that. I used to not believe in that. My whole life, and if you watch our last episode with my dad, you see he's pretty damn old school. My whole life, he preached, no gloves, tuck your shirt in, all this bullshit, right? It doesn't matter how you look. I learned that when I started to get a little bit of swag, like towards the end of my high school and into college, like you play better when you feel like you look better and you just feel good and you feel confident. It's a true thing.
I've been, on stages my entire life, right? And like, I can't say that I could give the same performance that I have previously if I like, walked up on stage and I had some like cargo shorts and like a golf shirt on, right? Like,
John,
that's not gonna work.
True or false, your concert would be significantly less memorable if you had my haircut.
Yeah.
I mean, that's right there. Boom. Simple.
So, and
simple
for real, the driving factor behind the length of my hair damn near my entire life is so that when I bang my head, that shit goes everywhere. Like, straight up. There's no
if
other
you're gonna shred on the guitar, it just isn't the same if your hair isn't moving.
100%.
Totally.
I could not agree more. So anyways, let's get into it here. And do you want to go like in the divisional order? Do you just want to pick teams and kind of start ranking them and see where
I think I think you got them in just like a random order. It looks like. Yeah. Let's just go in that order. Let's just go Saints across and
So Saints to me are a playoff team, not because I feel too certain about like where their roster and organization is at, but because they are the best team in their division, in my opinion. I feel like they don't have the thickest of competition, and for there, I'm going to put them at like playoff team tier. But remember, these tier lists too, like we'll put other teams in front of the Saints, as it's recognizing it.
Right.
So that's
I would have them in potential wild card is where I'd put them, but I'm not going to pick on you too hard with that.
Divisionally speaking, that's where I'm at. Also with playoff, and let's try to make this accurate, right? So if we're talking playoff team, SB contenders, SB favorites, I mean, what are we grabbing 14 teams, right?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. Okay, so 14 teams should end up in this tier, and if there's more than that, then we should start knocking people down. Dolphins. I would put them in potential wild card. Even though I think they're a playoff team, they probably have a better roster and coaching organization than the Saints. But due to their division, they're going to be struggling a little bit harder than the Saints, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree there. I agree. I think that's where they belong. That division's too competitive to safely say anything higher than that.
Right. Ravens, probably put them in the same spot because they got the Bengals and the Steelers and the Browns to worry about.
Yeah, I would agree.
Now, are they a better or worse overall team than Miami, you think?
I think they're worse.
Okay. That's tough. I don't know if I agree with that.
I mean, it's close. The Ravens are a different look, It's
very different look. I'd be interested. Much of the same. Are they on each other's schedule this year? Because I actually
they played each other last year, so I don't think
so. Probably not. That stinks. Bengals, SB contender.
Knock
them down a peg?
Yeah, I can't say. Yeah, it's got to be contender. It's got to be.
They got to.
I was gonna say favorite maybe, but I can't.
AFC's too stocked.
By the way, check out hype video on Cincinnati. I just posted this
Mark
week.
Did
if
post
you haven't
one.
seen it,
It got a copyright strike on YouTube, but
I
we're
watch
vibing on
it.
TikTok.
I watch it, and it almost makes me want to like bump them up to favorite.
Hey man, if your mascot's a tiger, that's pretty freaking cool. That's all I gotta say. Dude, and you're not even using like the main word for a tiger, but like a Bengal's a tiger, sick, right? Dude. Like just kind of goes nuts. Also, those white unis that they rocked for the Miami.
Oh my god,
that game sucked because I just wanted to watch their unis and watch them ball out, and the whole Tua thing was a huge dampener on it, unfortunately. But what are you gonna do? Broncos, it's got to be missing playoffs, right? And I love Sean Payton.
I would say mediocre at best, man.
Sean Payton.
Russell Wilson was so bad last year. Wow. I think even with the improvement that Sean Payton will bring, which there will be some, dude, they're in a tough division too, man.
You heard it here first. Russell Wilson is not fixable, according to Mark Petrito, and I might agree.
I've been saying that.
All right, we'll keep him at mediocre at best. We'll see what happens. New York Football Giants. I'm gonna say they're a missing playoff team. I think their ending record's gonna be like 7 wins or so.
I would put them at mediocre at best. Here's the thing with New York. They won a playoff game last year, and they extended Daniel Jones, and they're probably going to extend Barkley here pretty soon. The thing with them, John, and this is crazy to say, but I really do believe it. I think that they got better going into this season from last season, but I think they'll be much worse record-wise. Their schedule last year was one of the easiest in football. This year is one of the hardest. And yes, they're going to be a better team than they were last year, and I think that they're going to be significantly worse record-wise.
Okay.
So, again, it's just they play a tough schedule. They're in a tough division.
I'll put them ahead of the Broncos, though. Can we agree with that, then? If that's where
I don't know, dude. I wouldn't, honestly.
You think Broncos Giants face off?
I think the Broncos would win.
Interesting. Okay.
I just don't believe. I hope that I'm wrong because I have a few former teammates on that team, but they have a tough schedule, and I don't know. It's gonna be tough.
Okay, Vikings. Look, they were a fraudulent ass team last year, and I'm putting them in missing playoffs. I think actually that Green Bay has a higher chance of finishing second in the division than the Vikings.
They did lose Dalvin Cook.
Flores is a huge game for them. That is the only thing I'm worried about with that take that I just made. But I don't know, man. I think last year was a fluke, and I don't think they're in the same sense as the Giants. I think that they are going to not have some of those balls bounce their way this year.
The Vikings, to me, are one of the hardest teams.
They're they're garbage. They're good. They're garbage.
John,
they're good.
I could see them finish last in their division.
Yeah,
I really could, but I also could see them make the playoffs.
I know. So that's why I'm just smack dab in the middle, right?
Okay.
Maybe they just barely miss
playoffs.
Rams. I think this team will be better, but I saw from Brett Coleman's Rams video that they have. How many rookies do you think they have on their roster?
I saw this. I think they have like 26 or something.
36.
Yeah.
36 fresh blood, first year guys trying out for the team. And I think because of that, you're going to have to put them at like mediocre at best, right?
I would put them at number 1 pick contention.
Wow. You think they're going to be that bad?
Yeah, I do.
I don't know if I can agree with that. I would put them behind the Giants. I don't think they're number 1 pick contention. I think that's specially reserved for another team in their division.
Okay, I can live with that. I think Stafford might lead the league in picks again if he stays healthy.
Yeah, I heard you make that take.
We'll see.
And I disagree. I think that also belongs to Dak Prescott, but I guess we'll find out. Or Anthony Richardson if he starts.
That for sure could happen if he starts. But I don't think he'll start enough games.
For sure, mediocre at best. I might put Tampa in number 1 pick contention. We are not talking enough about how Tampa has just completely fallen from grace since winning their Super Bowl.
Well, not only that, but now they lost the greatest of all time.
Yep.
I would put them
right back where
best.
they belong.
I would put them mediocre at best, and I'd put them, behind the Rams.
Okay. Detroit Lions. My heart tells me here, but my brain tells me there.
Playoff team.
I can live with this. That's fine.
Listen, we're real, okay? This isn't gonna be a La La Land fantasy world podcast.
Sure.
We have to be careful, John, all right? Because we cannot continue to push the Lions higher and higher and higher and then be let down. We gotta keep listen, we know what could happen this year and there's potential, but we can't be talking about it like it's a sure thing.
Hey, Mark. Go Bears.
Dude, I'm going to say the Bears are a missing playoff team, but that's a big improvement for them. No, can't do it yet, but I could see that happen.
I think Poles is building his team very similar to how Brad Holmes is, except for whatever reason he really likes overpaying linebackers. And besides that, honestly,
they do have a great linebacking core, though, because of the fact that they're loaded. So, in terms of stopping the run, which they're gonna, the Lions, the Packers,
they're gonna need to be able to do.
They're gonna want to stop the run.
San Francisco 49ers. I want to put them right back here, honestly. Like, I think out of the NFC, they might even be better poised to win it than the Eagles, right? Like, I might even put them in here just because of like the way the NFC looks right now. For sure here.
They're a Super Bowl contender. Put them behind Cincinnati.
Fair.
The thing here, John, is people forget they lost their defensive coordinator, and he was a huge reason that they were so good the last couple seasons. And they've also lost a few players. Yeah, I think you got to leave them right there, though. And Seattle, don't sleep on Seattle.
We'll get there. Eagles.
Contender. Yeah. I wouldn't say they're although it's tough because
who are we going to put in the NFC there,
I guess you'd have to put the Eagles as the favorite.
Yeah, I mean, they are pretty much running it back minus their coordinators. That's the biggest thing that concerns me. Was it Sirianni or was it his coordinators?
I'll ask you this, and this maybe answers our question. What do you think's a bigger loss? The Niners losing one of the best defensive coordinators in football, or the Eagles losing both their OC and DC? But I wouldn't say either of them would consider the best.
Yeah, I would say the Niners is more significant because of the fact that the Eagles roster, top to bottom, has damn near no weaknesses. It
somehow got better.
Yeah, and so with that, right? Like you gotta pay respect where respect is due. Raiders, oh man,
number one pick contention.
I think they go in number one pick contention for sure. I think they completely blew themselves up.
Is Jimmy G gonna play?
We don't know. So we don't know that. Derek Carr, I think the way they handled that situation was one of the, it's incredible to say this, probably like one of the top 3 most embarrassing things the Raiders have done in the past 10, 15 years, which is saying something considering they have damn near no first round picks still on their roster from like the past 5 or 6 years. Like they seriously might win 2 games this season, I think. And look, maybe I'm wrong, but because
I think they win 4 games, maybe.
I think that's being generous. Green Bay Packers, honestly, I hate to say this. I hate to do this, but I actually think
really? You think they're that high?
If we're talking about the Vikings and the Bears being down here, then somebody in the NFC besides the Lions has to be in that wild card spot, right? The only question mark that we're really considering here is Jordan Love, right? I mean, defense. When healthy is really good.
They didn't draft very well overall.
They had a standard Green Bay Packers draft. When has that ever stopped them?
Yeah, I guess it's fair. I mean, it's the Packers.
I'll put them at the bottom of potential wild cards to keep us happy. That's fine, but I think they belong in this conversation. Unfortunately, it hurts me to say it, but the more I've thought about it, the more that I genuinely think this team is the most likely to finish second in the division. So,
yeah,
that's where I'm at. Man, Commanders. I'm like,
number
God, this
one
team
pick.
sucks. I don't know though. We got Bieniemy, and we got ownership.
I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think Bieniemy is going to be coming and do anything great for them.
I will put them mediocre at best. I don't think they're number one pick contention.
They're starting Sam Howell.
Okay, and with a potentially good OC with something to prove, maybe that goes somewhere. I'm not sure.
I can't even name three or four offensive players on their team.
You got Scary Terry
and Sam Howell.
You got
who's their running back? I don't even know.
Robinson, the dude that got shot.
Okay, that's one. And the only reason you know him is because he got shot.
No, there's the other guy too that they still have, who was actually pretty good in fantasy a couple years ago. What the hell is his name?
I don't think he's on the team anymore. I know who you're thinking of.
Why can't I remember his name? And then you got the other Dotson.
Oh yeah, Jahan Dotson's good.
Yeah, that's
the fact that that's a struggle to name 4 people.
Yeah, for how much NFL we watch, like I could name. Yeah. Okay, you already know where I'm at. This is my pick for worst team in the league. You heard it. I've said it a few times. We had a
have every
Cardinals
reason
video.
to want to be the worst team in the
league.
league.
Yeah. What are they playing for this year? Nothing. And it's first year with their new staff, so they're not worried about losing their jobs going into this, shit sandwich of a situation. So we're tanking for Caleb Williams starting week 1. I genuinely believe that's going to be the Arizona Cardinals plan.
And then Marvin Harrison with like the third or fourth pick.
Right. And then you got a whole new roster. You're good to go. All right, Steelers. I want to kind of put them like in this
potential wild card. I think they're potential wild card, man.
Dude, don't for real.
Tomlin.
Don't disrespect Kenny Pickett, first of all. I think that dude's going to have a pretty decent season. George Pickett, their entire receiving and tight end core are the biggest MFs on the face of the planet.
Deontay Johnson is one of the best route runners in football.
And then you have George Pickens, who he had a great rookie season last year. I don't think enough people are talking about it. Got Darnell Washington. He could have a big 6'7".
You still have what's their tight end from Penn State?
Freiermuth?
Freiermuth. You still have Najee Harris.
Yep.
You've
investments in the offensive line. Yep. And then your defense year over year is disgusting. Watt, Fitzpatrick.
Dude, yeah, I mean, honestly, the Steelers could be really good, man.
You can't count Tomlin out. Simple as that.
I think they'll finish ahead of the Ravens in that division, but
interesting. I don't agree with that.
You don't have to move it.
I'm higher on the Ravens than you. And I get that, and I'm looking forward to arguing about that when the season actually starts. I think it'll be.
That's one of our more polarizing teams between you and I.
Yeah.
There's a few teams we for sure. There's a few teams that we for sure have different opinions on.
Totally, and that's good. That's kind of what podcasts are for, is to debate our opinions occasionally. Bills. I can't put them here. I don't think I can put them here.
Playoff team.
Yeah, I can put them here, no problem.
And put them. I would put them behind the Lions.
Honestly, I would too. I was as soon as I put it there, I was like, that doesn't feel right.
And it's not necessarily because I'm not saying the Lions are better than the Bills or anything. I'm just saying, in terms of likelihood of making the playoffs, if I had to bet
with a bloodbath,
I would more confidently say that the Lions will make it over rather than the Bills. And that's just because of a division, competition is much harder for Detroit or for Buffalo than it is for Detroit.
Yeah. Falcons, I kind of want to put here. Maybe even nope. There.
No, number one pick, dude.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah.
I don't agree with that.
They're bad.
They're bad. I don't think they're bad. Last year was recovery year from Matt Ryan.
I can't have Atlanta ahead of Denver and New York.
Okay.
If you want to put them between, you could put them between. Yeah, that's about right.
All right.
They're bad, dude.
Another situation where I think like because of how not good their division is, like I don't know. We'll see. Okay, where do you want to put the Seahawks, Mark, since you're so high on them?
I want to put them at Super Bowl contender.
Stop it.
That's what I want to do.
I'd put them like here. Or
You got to
here.
put them. I think you got to put them as the top playoff team. I think that they have. I think they have more upside than Detroit.
The Lions and the Seahawks play each other again this season.
Yeah, and I think
I am looking
in
forward
Seattle,
to that
right?
game. You think so? Yeah.
It was in Detroit last year. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: like Seattle, Geno Smith's going to be much better than he was last year. They have probably the second or third best receiving core in football, and then you have Kenneth Walker, and you drafted another solid running back.
Yeah, but I feel like they could have done more too. I think they could have done more to address their front seven in the offseason. I mean, they got Wagner back, but he's old. So
he's the heart and soul of Seattle, man. He's the captain.
I don't know. I'm gonna keep this here. I think the Lions and the Seahawks play each other any week of the season. The Lions win. That's my thoughts on it.
I think that's one of the Lions' few losses.
Pats I'm putting as the top of the missing playoff teams because Belichick's gonna at least have them competitive. But I think that their division has escaped them. They are no longer the top dog in their division. They're not second place in their division. I don't think they're third place in their division. So,
dude, I would almost, yeah, that's about right where they belong. I mean, you have to still respect that the Patriot logo, but yeah, I would almost say even lower than that.
The Browns, I'm gonna put right there.
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair. That's where I was thinking you were going to go.
Texans. I actually think Texans could beat Cardinals. I think the Texans could beat the Raiders. I think the Texans can beat Washington, Tampa, probably the Rams, probably the Falcons. I probably would put them right here. Maybe if we want to be more pessimistic, maybe right there. They got their quarterback. They got their defensive leader. The rest of their roster ain't really that bad.
I was going to say maybe a missing playoff.
Interesting. So you're even knocking them up to this area.
Yeah, I think, listen, I really think that they got their head coach. They got Stroud, who I think is going to he's in a pretty good situation for a young quarterback. I think they're going to have one of the better running games in football. You're going to see a running game similar like what the 49ers try to do because they hired a 49ers Shanahan guy.
Okay, but you think like this team plays the Denver Broncos or the Giants, they're winning those games?
Not necessarily, but this isn't necessarily a head-to-head tier list. I mean, it's more of your product of your schedule, right? So I think that they have a better chance of being close to getting to the playoffs than Denver or New York does.
Yeah, and that's true because their division stinks. Okay, right. You sold me. I'll put it here.
Kansas City's an easy one.
Yeah, I wonder where we're going to put them. I want to put them here. I want to put them here, but
problem is that
right there. That's where they belong. Maybe right there.
That's just. I mean, I think they're a potential wild card.
No.
You can hate them, but you have to respect them, John. They're gonna be good. They had a good free agency. Dak's playing with vengeance. Wants to prove people wrong, like me and you. They got Tony Pollard. They got rid of Zeke, so we're not gonna have to see that fat turd carry the ball anymore.
Yeah. Dude, okay. Don't be wrong. Ohio State, Dallas Cowboy. I'm all for some Zeke slander. His first 2 or 3 seasons.
Obviously, but he got his bag and he went to McDonald's 4,000 times. Like he got his money. Listen, he did the right thing. He got his money. He had a great early career and got paid, and he's gonna ride off into the sunset. But he's speaking of free agents, and you check out our running back vid on why that position might be broken in the league. He still's not on a team.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talented running backs just floating out there in space.
Chargers.
Contender.
Stop.
Contender.
Stop it. I'll put them like there. And
What
honestly,
in the world? You gotta put them higher than the
Mark, I
Bills.
have been so high on the Chargers for so many years, and the best they've done is the worst playoff choke I've ever seen in my entire life.
Listen, you can't get too caught up in that one game. Justin Herbert, I think,
Is a
has
dog.
I think he
100%.
has the most impressive arm in football in terms of the big throw, the launching of the ball. Dude, the throw he made when he had fractured ribs in Kansas City, okay, on that
Oh,
Thursday
I'm a
night
huge
game.
Herbert fan, and I love the Chargers. I love their
They
roster.
Eckler's
They're
back.
sick.
That defense, if it stays healthy, is one of the best
Eckler
in
wants
the
to get
league.
traded.
But he's back. It's too late. He's going to be a Charger this year.
All right. I'll put him like there. Is that fine? Are you happy?
I'd like to see him higher, but
Nah.
I know you're not going to budge on him.
Jets, I'd put like here or here. And honestly,
you don't think the Jets are a contender?
No, I think they are. I think they're in win now mode, but I just don't know if they're going to pull it off. Honestly,
I mean, I think they're a contender, dude.
I think you're right. I think that roster at Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
With everything in the world to prove.
And honestly, Jets versus San Fran, I actually think Saleh would be able to beat the master. The student would be able to beat
I mean,
the master.
the Jets defense is tough, man. They're not easy to run the ball on.
Panthers, especially getting Breece Hall back. Dude, everybody's forgetting the first 7 weeks of the Jets run game. Holy shit, can Breece Hall play football? That dude was nuts.
Dude, they're going to be good. They're going to be really good. John, I'm gonna the Panthers, and you tell me if this is where you're thinking of putting it. I was thinking of putting it between the Giants and between Atlanta in the mediocre at best column.
I was thinking of actually putting them in the missing playoff team because their division is weak, and I think that Bryce Young is in the best position you could be as a rookie quarterback. Right? We've talked about this. I think like they might be like a 6 or 7 win team. That's kind of like how I view like these guys are like 6, 7, 8 wins. These guys are like 4, 5, 6. Then these guys are like under 4. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I'm at. So
yeah, it's just tough because you have two teams from that, that young quarterback class.
Well, yeah, but look who we haven't gotten to yet.
I know.
So I would put Titans beneath them probably. I think the Titans are probably not going to have the best year.
I think they might be worse than that too.
I think the Colts might be a number 1 pick contention. Like there. Maybe there. Oh.
Yeah.
Come on.
Behind the Cardinals.
Not behind the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are the worst. And
that's
then,
what yeah.
And then Jags, I would put as a playoff team. Like a shoe-in playoff.
Contender, dude.
Contender.
They were a contender almost last year. And they got way better. I'm telling you, a unforced fumble away from being in a 3-point game with the Chiefs at Arrowhead. Trevor Lawrence is the confidence that he is just brewing, okay, learning from Doug Peterson and just getting a roster around him that's better and better each year.
Jaguars and Lions play right now. Who wins?
Jaguars.
I don't agree. I'll put them
you,
at
they're
the
top
be good,
of, man.
To humor you, I'll put them at the top of the playoff teams. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 with 3 other wild cards that could make their way in out of this group. So